Hold on. I'm not ready. All right.
We are recording and gonna go live in 1 second, but we're recording already. Okay, and we are live.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gail Burks, and I am your host this afternoon at a special time for Open Mic with Gail Burks. We're doing things a little bit differently today because it is a special show that we're doing. I've got an encore conversation. At your request, we've brought back Patrick Quinn, who is the owner and the founder of Mad Harvest. And when Patrick was with us, welcome, Patrick, first of all. Thanks for coming
Thank you very
back.
much. No, thank you for having me back, Gail. It was an honor and pleasure to be with you and your audience.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, Patrick was able to share some insights and tidbits, and that's kind of tongue in cheek on healthy aspects of leadership, the fitness, the dietary aspects of it. And you guys burned up the chat room, you burned up the social media networks, and we wanted to give you an opportunity to continue the conversation. So I am, without further ado, going to turn it over to Patrick. Patrick, for those who are joining us for the first time, please give us that wonderful introduction about yourself, how you got here, and also Mad Harvest.
All right, thank you so much. So my quick elevator pitch is that my main goal and responsibility in this world is to help people improve their relationship with food. I got here through a lovely woman by the name of Quinn back in 1978. But I started my health journey being a personal trainer, then falling in love with food. And I fell in love with food so much that I actually learned how to cook in a non-traditional route because I did not go to culinary school. I volunteered at a restaurant for a year and took things I learned at a restaurant and just continued to improve upon it. Then I took my knowledge and my love for fitness and food and started to merge those worlds and realize the importance of both and how they ultimately impact people's health and well-being. So Mad Harvest was birthed out of me working with with a client, because I ended up cooking for a couple of athletes in their off season. So I was with an athlete. I noticed he was not eating enough vegetables on his own. So I know he needs that as a part of his recovery regimen, as far as his performance regimen. So I decided if he's not going to eat this, he's got to drink it. So I actually came up with a couple of different juices that he actually ended up loving. I started with a beet combination. I started with a kale combination and a carrot combination. And took it from just something that was a need.
You've given me an apple combination this afternoon, so I'm going to check on this a little bit later.
That's one of our newer flavors. Yeah, one of our newer flavors, actually one of my most popular flavors. So I took this from the need in the kitchen, from an athlete, and to recognize this is something that people will benefit from, to advancing the company from just being about juices to really creating a whole ecosystem of health improvement, health awareness, knowledge base, and things of that nature. So we're not even a juice company. We are a company that we start conversations with juice to get people to consume more fruits and vegetables. So right now we're building out an ecosystem of other nutrition coaches, personal chefs, plant-based doctors, local farmers and growers, registered dietitians. We're creating resources so that people can come to us and find different information that's going to benefit them on their health journey. So that's what Mad Harvest is today. And we're excited about our growth and the people that we're connecting with right now.
Yeah, and you know, I'm excited for you because you're not just doing the consultative side anymore. You're bringing the product itself in. You know, when it comes to busy individuals like myself, and I see on your shirt today, the generational piece. You know, we tend to eat the way our elders ate, our friends eat. How important is it to understand that we have to kind of break some of those ties and those binds of bad habit eating that arises during the course of our life?
Gail, it is tremendously important. And I think the most touching part about it is recognizing it at times of illness and death, because it ends up being the elephant in the room, for lack of better words. Many of our family members are dying, and food is a huge cause of why they're dying, but no one wants to talk about it. The doctors aren't telling us the exact reason why, but we understand how our cousin or our dad or our auntie or grandma ate. And we watch these things, we enjoy the experiences, but we didn't realize those experiences that we enjoy with them, or even watching them consume certain foods, how it led to the cancer diagnosis, how it led to the diabetes, but they had complications from, how it led to the obesity issues. I can go on and on, even dementia. So many things that break our bodies down, a lot of it stems from what we consume. And if we don't recognize that, we can't change it. So I recognize it. And I know that for myself. I was raised by a single mom, and she knew I needed to eat, but she did not know what or how I needed to eat. So because that was not her background, she just made sure I was fed. So as an adult, for me, and learning more about nutrition and understanding digestion better and understanding foods that benefit and don't benefit us, I've taken on the role of making sure that my son is more knowledgeable about the food that he consumes. I make sure my son is exposed to foods that benefit him. Make sure that my son is reading nutritional labels and make sure that he understands that, yes, you can have cookies and cake, but when you do it, what's the result? And was the result worth that taste? And knowing that you can get taste from that sweet taste or these other savory foods, you can get that in a different way that are less toxic and less damaging to your body. So I embrace this message of generational health. I embrace being a parent that has the opportunity to get my son to step outside the box of being that kid that enjoys or lives off of chicken nuggets, pizza, cookies, and candies, and dare to tell somebody, you know what, I don't eat that. I don't do dairy. I don't do these certain products because it doesn't make me feel good. So that's the message. That's the momentum I'm carrying through right now, is understanding that and embracing it. And it starts right in the house.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, one of the things I've also found is making sure that as someone who has a busy schedule like I do, and most of our listeners out there, that I do take the time, at least 3 to 4 times a week, to do some type of exercise, 15, 20 minutes. I'm not a dieter. I try to, and I don't believe in dieting. But you've got a lot of people who are just truly staunch believers that they have to diet. They have to buy all these special foods, eat all these special foods. How do we manage that? And before you answer that, well, go on and answer that, and then we're starting to get questions in from social media. How do I make sure?
So I'll try to answer it quickly. We do not have to diet, but we do have to eat, and understand that eating is a pattern and a lifestyle. So choosing the right food that's going to fit your lifestyle and that's going to bring your body energy and allow you to function optimally. That's as simple as I can put it. And once you understand these foods, it's just a matter of how do we get it. And with technology, we can have literally everything we want delivered to our doorstep, whether that's home or work, wherever. So there's very little excuses to make to get food that can benefit you.
I can tell you, I've learned how to do that since the pandemic. When I have to do that critical grocery shopping, I do the push the button and it's on my doorstep in a day. Let me go over to LinkedIn. We're getting some questions in. I've got a listener who is saying, what can a busy entrepreneur that doesn't get enough sleep do to improve their energy and focus? And part 2 of this question, and I'm hoping your answer is it's on the table to come. Do you have a book out yet?
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. So that's inspiration. Part 1, let's start with this. As an entrepreneur, you control your schedule. It's vitally important that you organize your day, you organize your work life, you organize your business to be able to shut things down, because rest is vitally important. Rest is another component to disease. And if we do not give our body enough rest or ample recovery, we can actually start to damage cells, which actually start to damage organs, which ultimately damages systems in our body, which will shut us down. Because trust and believe, if you do not give your body rest, it will rest for you in some way, shape, or form. So you must structure your day so you can get minimum. Really, we should be functioning off at least 6 hours of sleep. And I get the mentality of this young generation of go-getters and hustlers, and you want to do the grind, and I'll be all right, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That is not healthy. That does not help us. That does not help regenerate our body.
Dead. Wait a minute.
Start by
you said sleep when you're dead. I'm just like thinking on that one real quick.
Yeah, some people believe that. It sounds cool and it's cool on the shirt, but for reality, it's not. And trust me, I have a full-time job. I have 2 businesses that I run, and I have a child. So I completely understand what it's like to have a tough schedule and you're stressed in so many different directions. But at the end of the day, if you're not good to yourself, you are no good to anyone else.
This is true.
Force yourself to rest and you will benefit from that. All right, the next thing, as far as my book, I'm definitely working on a book. I wanted to do a book for one of the athletes that I was training. So it's something in the works. I just have to structure my thoughts to get them down on paper. Or I understand with technology now, all these cool AI software devices, I can just speak it out and have a book written. So I'm gonna have to tinker around with that, with that type of technology. I definitely want to be able to share my message in something that is easy for somebody to pick up and grab. Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I see Dr. Joy on the line, and she is the author of the book Resilience, and there is so much that goes into that word. It's a lot more powerful than we all realize. And you know, the stories that are contained in that book are of people who realize that if I change my direction, if I change the path that I am on, I can make that comeback. You know, a lot of people sometimes lose hope when it comes to that whole fitness journey, or when it comes to the consumption of the right food. Oh, I just can't do it. I love food. I love food. You know, I love food. And I love to cook for not only myself and others, but I have learned how to cook healthy and still have everything that I want when it comes to that whole consumption, whether it's sweets or whether it's that comfort food meal. I've learned how to garden. And so eating healthy is less of a burden. How do people who have not yet gotten there make it less of a burden and more of a reward? That's the word I'm looking for, because good food, healthy food is a reward.
All right. So the first thing I think is important when we understand healthy and taste, or good taste, can go together. There are many people that believe when something is healthy, it's not going to taste good. And I swear, in my experiences interacting with the public when we do our farmers markets, it cracks me up every time, Gail. I swear. When people will tell me, wow, this tastes healthy. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean it tastes healthy? I mean, either it tastes good or it doesn't taste good. So like, people have put healthy tasting in its own category, when if something is flavorful, it's flavorful, no matter what, if it's healthy or unhealthy. So we can start there. Now, how do you incorporate it? We want to look at 2 things. One, are you willing to be able to create your own food? Some people just aren't. I know I have friends right now that refuse to ever cook their own food, and that's okay. Right. So if you're never going to be that person, never going to prepare your own food, we just have to find you the places who can give food to you. And right now, there's so many options, whether you're a meat eater, whether you're vegan, there's so many meal prep delivery companies. So there's no excuse. You can find an option and have it delivered to you and get as many as you need, whether it's 3 meals a day, 5 meals a day. So you can have that brought to you. Now, if you're somebody that's adventurous and you say, I want to be conscious of my money, and I want to be closer to understanding the process and understanding what's going in my body, well, we can find easier ways to prepare food. One of the easiest ways are literally using a knife. Try to learn how to eat raw. When you eat raw, we don't have to worry about timing and worry about something being burnt. We just got to select the vegetables we need, the herbs. You can find some citrus fruits and use some seasonings. And we just got to cut into the way we want, get a bowl, and we can make amazing things happen. Give me a bell pepper, give me some mushrooms, some lettuce. All I need is some fresh herbs. Give me some lemon juice or lime juice and maybe a little grapeseed oil. I can give you a meal and a dash of sea salt. We can do a couple of different things with that. So you don't have to stress about cooking. It's about eating. Understand the best or the highest quality food is going to be uncooked food. That's where the nutrients are coming from.
Someone said, you know, tasty is equal to feeling and looking good, and those are their thoughts. So the misunderstanding or interpretation that somebody trying to come in the office here, that if it's supposed to be good for you, it's not going to look good, and I may not feel good about it afterwards. Kind of take us away from that myth.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, I had to learn that taste is so much more than just what goes in our tongue.
Yeah.
Our taste buds, our palate, it starts with our eyes. It includes our nose and especially our mind. I'll give my personal example. Cantaloupe is something that many people enjoy. I had a bad experience, or I'll say a traumatic experience when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, where when I ate cantaloupe, I had a negative reaction to it. It took me over 25 years until I can even stand the smell of cantaloupe without being sick.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing wrong with cantaloupe. But for me, the experience psychologically ruined my experience, or even wouldn't even allow me to get close to it. I was probably about 29 or 30 before I can stand the smell of it. Still, I wouldn't eat it on its own. I'm 44. I can eat cantaloupe in a smoothie, but I still, to this day, psychologically, I will not just scoop out cantaloupe and start eating it by itself. So understand these things that we say taste good, there's a combination of things that make things taste good or bad to us. And we have to learn that. This is one of the reasons why I always recommend to people, try fasting. When you fast, you allow your palate to actually reset. And things you probably didn't think taste good will start to taste amazing. Also, getting fresh fruits and vegetables from the actual source, not just the grocery store, but if you can get out to a farm, trust me, things that are grown in nature and you're pulling as soon as it's coming taste completely different than something that's been in a store and that's been traveling and sat for like 5 to maybe 12 days.
Well, a lot of people don't realize a lot of people don't realize they pick it green, so that when it gets to the store, it ripens on the way to the store, maybe not. And you know, I can attest to that. I'm going on my second full year of being a gardener, and I'm truly tasting food now. And I'm growing papaya, I'm growing your favorite cantaloupe, and I'm going to be growing some other things. So yeah, it's amazing. Dr. Joy has raised her hand. Let's bring her into the conversation.
Hey, Dr. Joy.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you again.
I am wonderful.
The one thing I had was water. I struggle to drink water. I don't know if anybody else has that issue, but how important is that?
I hear that. So this is what's interesting when it comes to water. You have different camps of nutrition experts that will give you different information on water. Some people will tell you that water is the most important thing. They would tell you that you must drink standard like 8 cups a day. But then you have other folks. I learned from alkaline vegans, and I take a lot of their information very, very seriously. And you have people in that world, it exposes you to understanding that there's water in a lot of food that we eat. Fruits contain a lot of water. Cantaloupe, melons contain a lot of water. Cucumbers contain water. So water content, it doesn't have to just be water in a glass. We get water from that fruit, water straight from a coconut. That's another way to hydrate our body. So it's not water so much that's important, it's the hydration. And hydration does not have to come just from that water that's in the glass. And if you enjoy cucumbers, you're getting water for your body. If you enjoy watermelons when they're in season, you're getting water for your body. If you enjoy cantaloupe and honeydew, you're getting water for your body. So sometimes it's just understanding the different forms that water comes in. If you ever had a fresh coconut, there is nothing on this earth that beats the water inside of a coconut. It is amazing. It is electrifying for your body. So if you have access to that, do that. If you don't, you can buy some coconut water. It's still just as beneficial for your body instead of just plain water. Or if you feel like you just want to have plain water, get spring water, add fruit to it, infuse it, throw in some blackberries, let them sit for a little bit. Get a squeeze of lemon, get a squeeze of lime, try an orange. But you can enhance the flavor naturally without adding any processed sugar to it, and that will make water taste better. Depends, do you want it room temperature or cold? Yeah, so hopefully those are some great ideas that will help you can get water into your body and stay hydrated.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't realize that coconut water was actually a source of, I knew it was, because I drink coconut water.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that was to be counted as a water product, you know.
Yes,
per
it
se,
is.
For your,
one
for
of the
your
best.
Body.
Yes.
It's a universal, it's a universal product. Yeah.
Woo. Yes, I have a coconut guy. So if you're in South Florida, I can connect you. He gets me fresh coconuts every week. And that is amazing. I get extra life from that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick, I've got some other questions that are coming in. Well, you're lighting up the airwaves again for me.
Bring them. I love it.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. You commented earlier, and you've got me doing intermittent fasting, but there are so many different ways to fast. Can you comment for the audience on that and just touch on that a little bit more for us to get some better education on that?
So we're thinking about intermittent fasting. Part of that philosophy has to do with our body's ability to break down food. Actually, it's also connected to our body's ability, improving our metabolism. So how we're breaking down food, how we're processing food, how we're burning fats versus carbohydrates in our body. Also, it connects to digestion. There are many of us, there's people that understand or have written in the space of when we break a fast, our body still is processing food that we had the previous day. So we should not be in such a rush to eat in the mornings. Like it's really not even advised to eat anything maybe before 12 o'clock. If you drink something, that can be okay. Now, some people that intermittent fast won't even drink, but if waking up and drinking fluids or fresh juices can be all right. But a lot of that help, you want to help your digestive system. The more you help your digestive system, the more you help your overall body as far as keeping nutrients flowing throughout the body, helping our body function properly. So then when you get into that time space, which is usually in the middle of the day, you have about a 6-hour window in which you will consume food. So you maximize your time, but you don't gorge. And that's something that's important, especially for people that are new, as much down as you can. But now you use the time to eat wisely in a way that's going to give your body nutrients and that allows your body to now get the energy from that food in a way that it's not going to store fat as long, that is going to supply your muscles with what they need, is also supply the rest of your system's nutrients that they need in a beneficial way without pretty much overstoring or storing excess fat.
Yeah, and you know what?
So personally,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I was just going to say that for me personally, I look at intermittent fasting as something that can be temporary. You don't have to live by intermittent fasting. There are people that are just strong proponents of, and they do it for the rest of their life. I get it. I've learned more of just doing the grazing method, learning how to just consume food when you actually need energy. Not when you're hungry. There's a difference. When you need energy. So if you know you're going to be moving around a lot, you need energy. Consume something that relates to that. And that may only just be an apple. If you're about to compete in a race, you're going to need more energy. So consume accordingly. So when we understand our lifestyle, we understand the activities we're doing, we can consume food and or fluids that will support that energy. So we don't overeat just for the sake of eating.
Yeah. And you know what? My body was really mad at me when I started intermittent fasting because I was used to having my breakfast in the morning and then my lunch and then my dinner. And I try to eat before 6:30, 7 o'clock. After that, it's too late to eat. But when I started the intermittent fasting, my first meal was between 12 and 12:30 in the afternoon. But during the morning, I'm consuming my fluids. I drink herbal tea, loose tea. And so that kept me full, but the nutrients in the tea, because it's medicinal, were good for me. And then in the afternoon, if I wanted a snack or something, I have this, it's the organic trail mix. But you gave me something that I'm going to try, and I don't know if anybody can see this on the screen. They're natural herbal, tell me what.
You're not going to say herbal just yet. Let me help you out, Mama. They are date bars. So they're date-based bars.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, I'm 63 years old, so I miss sometimes here. But they're date. I love dates.
Okay.
I love dates and anything that goes with it. But you know, when I snack, I'm snacking healthy. And so that I found is something that is important as well. I love pasta. And you know, we all know what pasta can do for you. I have found chickpea pasta, and it holds its context. It doesn't, get mushy, and so I have found substitutes. And again, because I love food, and being someone who goes to dinner meetings, luncheon meetings, all over the place, meetings, I've had to learn how to order properly, and that way that helps me manage my consumption. I see I've got Mark Van Wick from way across the pond in London. How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
International, I love it.
We got Canada, we've got London, UK, we got South Florida. We've got people from all over who are joining us today and every month. So thank you so much for coming in. This really is an important segment here today, because if we are not healthy, whether it's fitness wise or how we eat, we got New Jersey in the house. Okay, all right. It doesn't matter how successful you claim to be, because if you cannot function mentally, physically, and then the spirituality side of it will fall short because of the other two. We need to understand and educate ourselves how to make sure we do the right thing all across the board. Why don't you comment for me on that? Steve said that, does that mean no late night tacos? Yeah, Steve, it does. Sorry.
This is what I'll say. Let me chime in on Steve real quick, because many of us do have late cravings because we work so much.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we don't set a hard bedtime for ourselves. So we may work at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. So does that mean you do not consume energy when you need it? No, you should consume something. But what do you consume? For me personally, I love grapes, especially seeded grapes. That's the only kind of grapes I eat. Seeded fits you. Actually, grapes are great for the brain function. So late night snacking is not horrible if you're snacking on things that are beneficial to your body. So Steve, just find some red seeded grapes and you'll be great late at night. The tacos, I'll leave that alone, because that's definitely gonna have some digestion issues. But
listen, that was one of the hardest things for me to ever let go of was those Taco Bell runs. But I stopped years ago.
Especially with the 24-hour drive-through, right, Steve?
Oh man.
So
dangerous.
Yeah. But
so it's speaking about just the importance of recognizing health and recognize how we have to take care of ourselves. I think something that can help with that is, if you know that you want to make a change, but you may not be good at it, or you may not be strong enough to do it. This is where we bring in professionals, whether that is a registered dietitian, whether that's a nutrition coach. Get somebody who understands more about food than you do, that can help you create a plan, and that can hold you accountable to that plan until you're ready to be let go and go off on your own to continue doing it. There's nothing wrong with it, because the same way we encourage people to get help, mental health coaching, or help with our mental stability by seeing therapists, whether it's psychologists, you want to get that same help when it comes to how you consume food and understanding foods that benefit you, understanding your body, understand how your body responds when you eat certain foods. and making smart choices when you recognize your body's not responding optimally because you're having too much alcohol. I'll put that out there, especially for executives, because unfortunately, and alcohol for the most part is not fully benefiting your body. And I get it. If you talk about wine, well, I drink wine. And there's studies that show, yes, wine's supposed to help with red blood cells. But there's also studies that show that some of those studies weren't fully factual. So if you can minimize your alcohol consumption, which somebody, that's probably like blasphemy. How dare you say that? But maximize just having things that are fully beneficial from either your waters, your teas, fresh fruit juices. These are things that are going to help you get over that hump. But start with professionals who have more information than you do that will give you the plan and the blueprint to keep you moving, and then hold you accountable to that. And outside of that, tell people that you care about that you're trying to make a change. The more people you tell, the more people you have to remind you, so you don't get caught slipping when you're out casual, like, oh, am I really supposed to eat this? Or is there a better option? So that's what I would say when it comes to making that change that we're trying to make.
I've got a question, and I'm going to let him ask it since he's on the call with us. Ray had a question for you about food intolerance testing. Ray, why don't you jump in on that and join the conversation? How you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Gail. Nice to see you again. I was asking about this because I know there's a lot of ads on the internet, where you can send in a sample and they'll tell you all of the different things that you're intolerant of, and to give you a bit more of a guide in terms of what types of foods that you should emphasize in your diet. I was just wondering to what extent that is of real value in terms of us, developing a balanced diet, or should we really just go with what we know is healthy and what we know will do us good, even if initially we're not all that drawn to it. And I'm saying that because, Gail, you just talked about how at the beginning of your relationship with healthy food, you weren't necessarily drawn to them healthy foods. It might take some time for you to develop a healthy attachment to them. So looking just for a little guidance in that sense.
All right. So, Ray, thank you so much for that question. Thank you for chiming in. So I start with this. What is healthy to you? And many of us have to understand that, because this term healthy gets thrown around so much that people believe that what they're doing is healthy, and it's still leading them to the hospital. It's still leading them to ailments. It's still leading them to death by food. So we have to really understand what is truly healthy. And I'm going to say something I'll say with pride, and not to try to convert anybody, but there are many doctors that will support this statement. When we simply get back to eating whole foods, plant-based, meaning fruits, vegetables. Some people argue that some grains aren't as beneficial, but we start eliminating a lot of the animal products. You'll be surprised at how your body responds in a way that resets your system, in a way that detoxifies your body. And this is something that is hard to swallow, no pun intended, for many of us who have grown up eating meat, grown up consuming dairy products. So if you're over 25 years old, if you're over 30 years old, for me to tell you, stop eating these things, you're going to look at me crazy, you're going to be bothered, and you're going to disagree. But there are plenty of studies that show that there are doctors right now who are helping people reverse many illnesses and diseases when they simply let go of these animal-based products. So if you look at some of these tolerance tests, some of the tests may show you as far as issues with dairy. Some of the tests may show you some issues with iodine, may show you some intolerances to certain red meats and things of that nature. But I stress to you, give your body the ability to just see how you feel when you let go of animal protein just for 1 week. It won't kill you, trust me. Don't worry about the lack of protein that people argue. Don't worry about the B12, the vitamin D things. Just give your body 1 week on just consuming fruits and vegetables, and be honest with how you're feeling during that process. The only thing you're probably going to deal with is just missing what you used to have. But from an actual standpoint of energy, from a standpoint of focus, think about how you feel for 1 week. And I guarantee you, in that week, you will notice a difference. Doesn't mean you have to become vegan. No. Doesn't mean you have to become vegetarian. No. But what it does mean is some of the foods you've been consuming have probably been leading to the causes that you want to change. And it's opportunity is appropriate that now you start to recognize that and make those changes as far as letting some things go or just having far less of them in order to start really being more in balance or being in line with this healthier lifestyle that you want to have. And just because you eliminate meat does not mean that food can't taste good. And it doesn't mean you're only going to have salads. So there's so many different ways you can consume food without meat and without dairy, and it can taste amazing. It can be flavorful, and it can fill you and give you all the function and taste that your body wants.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Sound?
I appreciate that because, you know, based on what we've read, there's a certain perfectionism when it comes to diet as well, where people say, you know, you have to absolutely cut out this. And the second you trip up, you know, it's Super Bowl Sunday and, you know, somebody gives you something, and, you know, it's coming up this weekend, right? And you say, oh, you know, I ate that nacho chip, and then you're killing yourself for a week because you ate one nacho chip. And I think the emphasis should really be, like you say, to have those sustainable shifts away from bad things. Not to say that you're never ever going to eat a bad thing again, because that's not going to work. But to say, look, I understand that my lifestyle is now built in such a way that I'm not gravitating toward those things. So that when Christmas time comes around, maybe I will have a little cake. But, you know, then when Christmas time gone, I'm not eating no cake.
I'm a firm believer, and I shouldn't say this. Yeah, I shouldn't say this because Patrick is my health and fitness coach, but sometimes I do have to reward myself for being such a good girl during the week where I've done my exercise, I've eaten properly, I've had my meatless meals, and sometimes I just want a reward. And I may have that chip. And yeah, Patrick, this is confession time. And, or I may have that chocolate chip crisp cookie. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So, but once I'm done, and I don't have to do it again. But you know, I'm not going to. I mean, I told them this the first time we met. I said, I am not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to deny myself that taste bud. If it comes, it comes, and I'm going to do it, and then I'm done. So if you've got it, you've got the discipline to work it. Knowing that I'm busy, I have these small packets of organic trail mix that have the nuts and the dried craisins and raisins, and I'll keep them in my purse or my briefcase when I travel or I'm out, you know, during the day. I know I'm going to be gone. If I get that craving for something that's semi-sweet and salty, I'll pull one of those out. And I know I'm not in trouble because it's healthy. So, and Patrick is just looking at me like, I can't believe you saying this. Yeah, I am.
I want you to be honest. It's
okay. But we are human, and I just got to a point in my life I refuse to feel guilty about anything. And it's just, you know, most of us are entrepreneurs. Many of us are entrepreneurs or self-employed, and we work at home. So there are those temptations. How do you manage that? I mean, educate us going into this conversation about how do we shop for ourselves, especially when the access is so much in our faces when we work at home.
I love it. Thank you for asking that question, because the battle starts with your own kitchen.
Yes.
And I would say the first thing that I personally used to do is I look at things that are just in boxes, if it has too much sugar, if it has a bunch of salt, if there are things in cans, I'm going and tossing stuff. But we don't have to always take that gung-ho approach. The start is keeping things that are fresh, keeping things that will cause you to have to go to the store more than once in the week. So that means we're going to have fruits in the house. We're going to have vegetables in the house. The things that are in boxes, like usually pasta for our pasta lovers, keep those to a minimum. Rice, I get it. We enjoy rice. We enjoy these grains, but you can keep them to a minimum. So when you shop, look at ingredient labels. That is where we start. My rule of thumb is if something has more than 7 ingredients, I typically stay away from it. Am I perfect at that? No. And the only time I probably slip is if I buy like bread, like if I buy a wrap that probably has more than 7 ingredients. But I try to even buy simple breads. Like I like to buy a product. It's a spelt bread. It's in the frozen section of Whole Foods. There's 3 ingredients in it. So I'm focused on getting people to read ingredients and buy things that you actually understand. If you buy a product and the ingredients are like words that are longer than 10 letters, and you don't have, if you have to look it up, you probably should just put that back because it's in the product, which means it's going to be in your body. So if you don't understand it, if you don't understand it, then you don't understand what it's about to do to you. So that's one of the biggest things. Understand the food you eat. Yes. When you buy an apple, the only ingredient in it is the apple. Now I know somebody's going to say, well, what about the pesticides? What about the herbicides? Okay, yes, people do spray these fruits and vegetables, but understand there is a good chance that the minimal amount of toxins that are in those vegetables and fruits are going to be far less dangerous than some of these ingredients that we don't understand. One of the ingredients that bothers me the most, natural flavoring. What is natural flavoring? It is something that is not beneficial to you because tell me what natural tastes like.
It's not natural.
Exactly. So also pay attention to the first 3 ingredients. That is your key to understanding what your food is made of. If the first 3 ingredients contain some added sugar, some type of sugar, whether that's a type of molasses, a honey, some type of corn syrup or some type of syrup product, some type of something ending in OSE, some type of glucose or something, it's going to be an added sugar. So they try to disguise it in many different words. That's not going to be the most beneficial for you. So keep your cabinets full of things that cause you to go back to the store often and aren't able to stay in your kitchen for more than 8 months. If you can stay in your kitchen for more than 8 months, that should also be a concern for you.
That's a tell-all. I've got a couple other comments that are coming in. Can you make a comment for us on seeded versus seedless grapes? And here's the other one, organic versus traditionally grown. It's like farm versus wild, you know?
Yes. These are great questions because these are actually going to be up on our website, madharvest.com. We're going to do some blog information. I've actually just had a video video conference with a grower, and we talked about these things. So let's start with the seeded grapes.
Yeah.
Understand this. All real fruit has seeds. Seeds are the reproductive organs of fruit. So all natural fruit were meant to be created and then reproduce themselves. So when we see any type of fruit that has no seed, that is a problem. It's like seeing your child born and they have no sexual organ. You would be concerned. Matter of fact, you may not even want to take the baby home, but I know you're still going to love them. So understand this.
Get us in trouble.
Seeded fruit are going to have seed. I know. Seeded fruit will have the most nutrients. Are seedless fruits bad? I'd stay away from bad and good, but what I will say is seedless fruits are not as beneficial, are not as nutrient dense as fruits with seeds. So if you're somebody you're in a situation where you can't get to seeded fruit, I would rather you choose fruit without seeds than go and grab some potato chips. So that's my piece on seeds versus seedless fruits. Okay. So always try to buy seeded, but if you can't, seedless fruits are going to be better than some other snack options that we probably tend to lean to. So then the next question had to be organic versus traditional, or what we call conventional. What is important to understand about organic is this. By definition, organic has a set of criteria that growers follow based upon our government standards. That criteria has to do with the seed of the fruit, has to do with the soil of the fruit, has of the produce, has to do with the actual environment which is kept, and it also has to do with the sprays that are used on that produce. And all of these standards have to be met for something to be considered or labeled organic or certified organic. I've had to learn this when it comes to organic versus traditional. All produce that's organic does a certification, which means there is a dollar amount that comes with that. There are many great growers, great farmers who simply cannot afford to keep up with maintaining that organic certification because of the cost involved. So this is why it's important that you get to learn who your grower is. And if you can get access to farmers market or get access to actual farms that allow you to pull product directly from them, you want to find out, are they growing responsibly? That is a term that most of us do not know. That is a term that is very common among growers.
Okay.
Growing responsibly, which means they are using the most beneficial methods to make sure that they're produce for your bodies. Something that is conventional, your organic label. So, and also even in organic, something else I had to learn. Some fruits you don't have to necessarily always go organic, because if it's something that does not have a skin that you're going to eat, then it's kind of protected. You look at an avocado, you look at maybe a watermelon, anything that has a hard skin.
Patrick, we're losing you. We're losing your audio.
Typically, that spray isn't going to get to the fruit. But I have to throw this caveat in. Are you having? All right. So I'm going to throw this caveat in. Once any type of fruit or vegetable is sprayed, more than likely that spray is going to become a part of that fruit and vegetable. So we're always told to wash things off, and washing helps. But the harsh reality is, once it's sprayed, it becomes a part of that produce. Just like us, if we put lotion or something on our skin, it does get into our body. It becomes a part of our cells. So you're never going to get 100% of anything that's sprayed onto produce off. But try to, if you can, optimally find things that are grown responsibly by getting produce from an actual farm or farmer at a farmer's market. If you have to go organic, organic is fine. If you have to go traditional, conventional, it's not as horrible, but it probably is not ideal. But once again, there's a cost involved. So people, if you're on a budget, you may end up getting more conventional. But I would rather you, once again, buy conventional fruits and vegetables instead of going into an aisle and buying something inside of a can. That is definitely going to got to be your last option.
I've got one last question for you from Mark, and he asked, coffee, good or bad?
Oh my goodness, I love it. So I would say it depends on the type of coffee. If you're getting coffee, there's a couple of different African companies that make coffee. You have the Blue Mountain Company out of Jamaica that is very popular. The coffee bean itself is supposed to be beneficial and has several different nutrient benefits for your body. I'm not a big fan of caffeine, though. Caffeine in itself is an artificial stimulant that can provide our body energy, but is not sustainable energy. So if you're somebody that is hooked on coffee, you love to believe chaga mushroom is a coffee that many alkaline vegans use, and it actually it is very good at mimicking the flavor profile of coffee, and it has a higher nutrient value. Also, there's date coffee. Not a lot of people sell it, but you can make date coffee. If you somebody into dates, buy the dates that actually still have the seed in it. You can take that seed, you can roast it. Once it dries out even more, you can put it in a spice blend, a grinder, grind it down to a powder, and you can now use that the same way you would use your regular coffee mix. So ultimately, I would say coffee, you don't need it. Coffee, you are probably slightly addicted to it because of some of the properties that are in it. But you can find alternatives. Like I said, the chaga mushroom, there's a mushroom-based coffee, and dates can actually be grinded to a powder that can actually be used as a coffee as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Once again, we are running out of time with you. You just bring so much information to us. I'm so grateful for you giving us this time, and it is going to be exciting in about a year or so when you come back with your new book, and share with us how we can get. So folks, I'm going to put his information up on the screen so that you can reach out to Patrick, stay in touch with Patrick, and and give him your love and check out some of those products that he's got in hand there.
How was the
That's
juice?
just,
How was that apple juice with sea moss you just consumed?
the apple juice is wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. And I tell you folks, it is like chewing and drinking an apple in itself. It is fresh. It's not too sweet. And it's refreshing. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, I've got on the screen for everyone. If you can see it, that this is Patrick's information. Let me see if I can you all see that? I'm hoping you can. But Patrick can be reached at info. You tell them this is your address. Share with them how they can find it.
So yes, info at Mad Harvest, or you can meet personally directly. You can be Pat, that's P-A-T, at madharvest.com. I'd love for you guys to come to the website, join the community. Our focus is building a healthier community, and we're providing additional resources through blogs, through video content. Like I said, I just finished shooting with a local grower, and we just dropped some of this great knowledge that we talked about today, but go even deeper into food and growing your own food. So we're going to continue to provide resources to people that want to learn more, that need more support on their health journey. We're here for that. The products that we have are our cold pressed juices. We have our snack bars. We probably make some pre-made salads down the pipeline. That's just an additional benefit and vehicle to spread the message of consuming more fruits and vegetables. But definitely, please check us out. Join the community. We would love to partner with us. You can catch us when we're at farmers markets. Pull up on us if you're in South Florida. But if you're not in South Florida, just reach out, drop me a line on the email, or even you have my see me on text message so you can reach out. But our goal is to simply help people become a healthier version of themselves through the power of produce.
Yeah. This has been so exciting. This is my opportunity to bring to the forefront young entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, old fogies like myself who are continuing to be relevant out here. Don't forget us at CMA Enterprise. We've got some academies coming forward in this year. So check us out and come visit us when we do the Readiness Factor. We're also going to be launching our masterclass this year. So we've got a lot of people who are out there looking to start in the professional services arena, and we're going to show you the tricks of the trade that we have learned over the last 3+ decades out here in business and industry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, whether you're here with us in the Zoom room or whether you are on LinkedIn or whether you are live with us on Facebook. Thank you all so much. We've got a lot more great things coming. And next month, we're going to be bringing a legacy entrepreneur to talk to us about generational independent business. Look for me on the website. Look for me in social media. Hope to see you next week. It's going to be a great conversation. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Everybody be great. That time flies so fast.
You did an hour.